TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
Otherwise, it happens violently.
Yeah, but the youth they intended to be peaceful from the very first day.
Beautiful. They were just intent on having street protests, peaceful protests. And the strategy was this: no leadership, just the youth. That we are annoyed, angered by the activities and atrocities of SARS. SARS is a government organization, the police. And they said, EndSARS. This question of EndSARS campaign didn't start today. It started to increase incrementally, up to this point when the youth massively came out and said, EndSARS. And they were very, very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. And they were well calculated. And they said, no leadership.
Yes.
So nobody could target any leadership.
So, and no revolution in sight. The whole idea of revolution was not in sight.
Well, you know, because of the term revolution, the connotation of revolution, that it appears that if you mention revolution, you are talking about violence. You are talking about change by violent
You're talking
means.
about upsetting the present order.
During the time the Sahara Reporters leader talked about revolution now, he was targeted because people felt he was about to change government by a violent means. And that was why government targeted him and picked him up and did what they did to him. Now, the youth did not say they are causing a revolution. They didn't say they are causing a revolution.
Prof, I hear you, sir.
So.
I don't want to take issues with you, and I hear you, sir. But
okay.
Upon the revolution now thing that you spoke about, yes, it came out there. But the leader of that setup, Omoyele Sowore, was himself a participant in the election that brought President Buhari to power.
Yes.
They both, himself and Buhari, asked for the people's votes.
Yes.
The people went with Buhari. You now come on after that protest and say, it's not satisfactory. We must disrupt this whole situation, no matter how positively intentioned. I guess that might have been the way government was looking at it. I just thought I'd just add my little two bits.
Yes, I think I agree with you. I agree with you. Because if you are part of a system and all of a sudden, you beat a retreat and you say, no, I'm no longer part of it because of one or two things. Yes, of course, you looked at.
Yeah, wait for the next election and try again.
I agree, because you didn't have any moral standing, any high moral standing anymore. To begin to say, oh, this is not good enough, because you could have made it possible when you were campaigning during the electoral time. You could have also said all the things you said later, but you didn't say so. Now you decided to. Well, that's just as it may be. But for the youth, I tell you that what they did was something that government didn't even know was going to happen.
Yes.
Government was taken unawares. Not just that government was taken unawares, government didn't know or didn't have a ready strategy to deal with it. That was why government went mum, silent, for so long a time. For 14 days, government could not say anything. Government only came around to say something when the shooting happened. And then the looting and all the abuses that occurred. That was when government found its voice. Otherwise, government didn't know what to say. Didn't know what to do.
Didn't know how to act.
Didn't know how to act. Didn't know how to handle the entire thing. And the youth said that they were not there for violence. And they put out 5-point demand.
Yes, all of this of which we know. But the statement that is now apparently coming from the leadership of the North, that the hijacking, which was youths, but criminal youths, not part of the original peaceful protesters, wreaking havoc and mayhem, arson, everything, all of that the protesting youths never did. They are saying that hijack they appear to be saying that hijack was to divide Nigeria, and I don't know if you'll agree with that.
I disagree with that.
Oh, okay.
Because that wasn't intended. Nobody intended that.
Indeed.
The hijack couldn't have happened if not for the shooting. Do you know that?
Okay, let me ask Dr. Boyo. Let me get Dr. Boyo's perspective on that same question about those who hijacked had the intention to divide Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think where this thing started from is that the youth themselves ought to, and it's a lesson for tomorrow, when planning a protest, try as much as possible to make your protests national. So you should have youths in Kaduna, Abuja, Calabar, and everywhere, so that even if they're going to attack you in one place, they will have so many other places where this thing is going to go on. So the peaceful protests should be made in a way, like that, the Northerners saying that Nigeria is indivisible. Their youths are not the ones talking. It's the emirs and the leadership of the North that is saying that. When we say Nigeria, we need restructure, even in the South, many of the leaders are not asking for the kind of restructuring Nadeko and others were asking for at the beginning. And those that are asking for it are not as emphatic as what these young people are saying. What these young people are saying is not basically just restructuring. They are condemning the present situation, the salaries of those in power, in the National Assembly and everywhere. So was it hijacked? Yes. Was the hijacking of the EndSARS movement designed to embarrass the government? That's what I won't be able to answer, because two things happened. The hijacking of the movement was not done by the youths that had very good intentions and were saying EndSARS. It appeared to have been hijacked by hoodlums. And these hoodlums appear to be the foot soldiers of some political operatives.
Okay, because I was going to ask if you thought the hijack was organized.
Yeah, it was organized. It was organized. Initially, it looked like it was not organized.
It looked like it was
organized. By the way it was going on, you see, I don't want to use that to remove the fact of the young people asking for EndSARS by separating the riot from the EndSARS movement. The riot was as a result of the people on the streets who have had, like if you have unemployment everywhere, 70% of the youth are unemployed. People are having jobs to go to. If those guys that were ransacking the country had 3 jobs, one in one textile mill, one at the airport, one somewhere else to do, and they come back at night, they will just slip off. So unemployment was the petrol that lit the whole thing up. Then poverty, hunger in the land, and the fact that even schools were closed. So I remember during the lockdown, at a point at the lockdown, there was this kind of thing that took place. So people just get up and start causing mayhem. Now, yes, now there was a lockdown. People were trying to recover from lockdown. Then they found out that the streets were getting locked. Then vehicle owners, agberos, all those other boys began to find out what's their role in this thing. 2, it is possible that people know that if this movement goes on, it's going to affect them, their political economy. Because at the end of the day, this EndSARS was just an acronym. At the end of the day, like most things in the world, it starts like, is it the Tiananmen Square? Is it the Orange Revolution? Is it the Yellow Umbrella? Everything always starts with, in Tunisia, it was just a young man, a vendor that burned himself up because he couldn't stand anything any longer. And that led to wherever it was. So whenever things start like this, the end result of it is always to bring the government to its knees and change certain things like the salaries of legislators, power, and they begin to take other things. If you finish with SARS, they're going to take on. So the government ought to have woken up. Somebody said at the beginning that the government did not listen. I think the government listened. It was too little, too late. They set up SWAT. They said we have cancelled SARS, and we're trying to meet the people halfway. In such a thing, you don't just meet them halfway. You come out. If within the first 24 hours of EndSARS, the president had a broadcast, and the president came to Lagos, and they met him and said, okay, come and meet the president. You, even if you have no leader, let 20 of you go to the airport, to the VIP lounge at the airport, and he talks to them, and just assure them that this thing you have said are true. There's no light, I agree with you. There's no water, I agree with you. The rules are not that, I agree with you. Give us 100 days, like JFK said. 100 days, there will be a change. If you don't see change in 100 days, that would be an opportunity for the president to deal with the National Assembly income, salaries, deal with his minister's salary and say, look, these young people want this. We have to meet them halfway. Let's start. If it started with something, I'm sure even the hoodlums will not be able to fight again.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Boyo. Prof, that Dr. Boyo's suggestion at the end of that presentation, I don't know that our authorities are necessarily thinking like that. Because you said, and I think just about everybody realizes that this thing caught all of us by surprise, and nobody, quite frankly, government least of all, knew how to react to it, to contain it. Because that would really, if they had gone that way, I imagine the youth would have been placated. But you see, government doesn't go that way. In fact, the president was to say later on that because of the acquiescence that they had to some of those demands, they mistook it for weakness. And so government was going to bear its fangs. After the initial surprise, they didn't, that was my addition, government was going to bear its fangs. But I noticed that, it was. Yes. I noticed that statement that this was, our attitude was mistaken for weakness.
You will tell us you are building a bridge, you have budgeted $2 billion, $3 billion to build a bridge. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, we're not seeing anything. It's not false information from the government. You go to the north, you go to the south, everybody are trying to defend their own people. When Yoruba man will give a false information, Yorubas will defend him. A northerner will give a false information, the northerners will defend him. The southerners will give a false information, the southerners defend him. That is exactly what is going on in Nigeria. It is a very difficult issue to tackle. But we have to start with the sincerity and truth. Let government should give us an example. Hold a person, deal with a person. From there, we can learn from an example. Take an America, for example. A president will come and agree it is true. It happening over the world. But in Nigeria, even the government cannot concur and agree with the masses. Okay. It is a very difficult situation we are facing in Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for calling in, Sonny. He said in America, all over the world, in the UK, you have this situation where there are people who see it differently from government. In fact, call them by their names, the opposition.
Yes.
And they have a right as well.
Yes.
And they exercise that right. And those societies are able to continue. I suppose somebody's going to say, well, these are developed societies. Those societies,
they will say that facts are sacred.
Yes.
Opinions are free.
Are free.
Yes.
And so they continue. Government puts out its own perspective. Well, they have a different kind of governance structure, let it be said.
I agree with you.
They have a totally different,
yes.
I mean, take the UK, for instance. Is it every day or every week, the Prime Minister has to go and ask questions, has to go and answer questions, in Parliament,
yes.
From representatives who are representing people.
Yes. Now they are fighting him.
Yes.
Boris Johnson, for instance.
Yes.
He's asking for a lockdown, and they are saying no. Even within his party, there's crisis.
So, we have this situation on our hands here. And how to, in the light of government's declared intention to regulate is the word that they use, that government itself uses. But the northern leaders have used the word censorship, if they are being quoted correctly.
Regulate is a saner word to use.
Yes.
Rather than censorship.
Yes.
Censorship connotes obnoxious action.
Okay.
Targeting a particular group or a particular thing. That's censorship. Denying people the right to do certain things or the freedom to act. Okay. When you censor the social media, you are denying people the freedom of expression.
But if you regulate it, it might be that you cannot forward on or post anything that you do not know and have the proof is true.
Yes.
And if you're going to regulate, that calls for equity must come with clean hands.
Indeed.
Yes. If you're going to regulate, also
let me not lose Mazi Okoroafo, who has called in from Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, August and the studio.
Thank you.
Honestly speaking, Sayori and gentlemen, this is fair. But we are facing this issue of social media, whether SARS anything we may come at the same. Poor or lack of implementation of government policies. Do you know that if in a country like ours, that all the government policies, when you bring Ejero and the rest on the program, all the policies they've got on the policy they say, and all those are being implemented, they will not think like EndSARS or social media or anything. But in the sense, there is no monitoring, no implementation. Now you ask yourself, even if you go to see, social media has made everything has gone haywire. Now, if you are talking about controlling social media, let me give you an example. You know, Trump, everyone knows about America. In daughter of a stock, that was last year. He said he doesn't watch CNN. Mm-hmm. Why? The way they present him every day. That's his own aspect as a human being that he also watches CNN.
Oh, yes.
Then you see him granting interview with Fox Television.
But thank you very much, Mazi, for calling in. Trump has, he's exercised his right. One, to free speech. He's called CNN the fake news network organization. Two, he's exercised his right to say that he doesn't even watch them.
And as I said, to tell 17,000 lies in 3 years.
Yes.
17,000 lies in 3 years.
And even Fox News, President Trump has gotten,
fed up with it.
He's fed up with them now.
Yes,
and he said that these people are going the way of CNN.
If you come to equity, you must come with clean hands. If you have told 17,000 lies, are you getting me in 3 years or 4 years?
Well, that's fact-checking for you.
Yeah, fact-checking. Not by me. Fact-checking.
Those are people who are checking the facts.
And that's how we should start in Nigeria. Let's fact-check the president, fact-check presidency, fact-check the National Assembly before fact-checking social media.
Yes.
So there's something I need to add here.
Please.
I think Dr. Boyo keeps saying something about attacking government, attacking government. I don't think it is out of sync to attack government.
Well, it depends on what you mean by attack. I mean,
Well,
if it is to criticize, if it is to criticize government policy.
Let me use
I'm saying I'm not against attacking government. I'm saying that if all you do in regulating social media is to go after the perceived enemies of government.
You mean criticizing government and its policy?
Yes.
Because attacking government is
don't start regulation with your critics. Don't start regulation with your critics. Start regulation with facts.
Okay. But you are allowed to criticize government. Even I've heard President Buhari say it one time. I can't remember exactly when. He said they are not against criticism. Constructive criticism. It's just that
but the best
who is judging which one is constructive?
The best criticism is to judge yourself. When you write a budget for the year, you now know that the bridges were not done, the minister is sent to jail. Boris Johnson recently said that he doesn't want to be eating food in 10 Downing Street again. That is more expensive than his own, and he's being charged for eating in 10 Downing Street.
No, we don't charge our president.
No, we don't charge our president. Then if we find out that the second Niger bridge.
But I don't know. We might be charging the president in Nigeria too.
If we find out the second Niger bridge was done.
We make a budget of 900 million naira for the presidency. For food alone.
Let's take Evans from Auchi. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Can you listen to me, sir?
Yes, we can. We can. We want to.
I hear you.
Okay. What I have to contribute now, I heard that the police they refuse to resume work, which is very wrong. So the government are not supposed to beg them to resume work. Instead, their salary is supposed to be fixed for at least 2-3 months for them to resume their work because they're not doing their job properly. Even when the protesters were protesting.
Okay, but Evans, you didn't notice our topic.
Yeah.
What you are saying is not irrelevant, but you didn't notice our topic. We're speaking about social media and attempts to regulate it, and we took that from the fact that EndSARS protest was hijacked. But thank you very much for calling in. Let's give a few moments to the thought that you have brought up. Now, this whole matter that Evans has brought up, they have been encouraged. The police have been encouraged.
In fact, they did not really stop work. They ran away.
Their
lives were threatened. Because the stations were burned. Their guns were seized. Some barracks were burned. The
police was traumatized.
Yes.
How many are they total? 350, 300, something like that. And you have the whole population descending on them. So they were traumatized. And social media, again, there were horrible, horrible pictures on social media of the treatment that we meted out to the police. Let it not be said that we are we and the people were the people. So, but the Inspector General of Police, I think, latest has said that, look, defend yourself. go back to your duty point.
And the Lagos State government had decided to also assist.
Yes.
They went to
Yes.
the command headquarters.
Yes.
They will build the police post.
Exactly.
They will give insurance to policemen.
So
those that died, their children were given scholarships, and they were now encouraged to come back.
But this is about the emotional health of the police as well, the emotional health and mental health of the police. Because
there's
and also there's a lesson.
There was a lesson.
There's a lesson.
We saw harrowing
the police
images.
must not make the citizens their friends.
Of course.
There's something that came out from the EndSARS protest. Some were adding another dimension to it. That is not just EndSARS, but also reform the police.
Exactly,
The police,
which has been accepted.
Yeah,
that has been accepted. Let me bring in Samuel. Samuel in Abuja, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Looking at the topic that is going on right now about the regulation of social media, I am kind of in support of regulating it, because even just yesterday there was a picture on Twitter about some guys. Somebody said some guys were massacred in Eyibo in Rivers State, and that same picture was actually a picture of people who tried to break into the Ikoyi prisons days ago. And this thing is this some people just hop on it, just sleep on it, and start causing havoc. So I actually support an express law that is made to punish those that how will I say it now, intentionally manufacture this information to cause havoc. Yes, one of your speakers there have said that there are existing laws that have not yet been applied properly. But law is dynamic. You can keep making laws.
Okay.
This is a specific law that states that if you manufacture a content on social media, intentionally knowing that this is fake.
Okay. All right then.
People hop on it to cause this havoc. You will be punished. We know that somebody might say they are trying to regulate free speech, but sometimes we see through
not regulate, censor.
This intentional act of trying to cause commotion and problems. So I support an express regulation on manufacturing fake content on social media.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you for calling in, Samuel. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and quite frankly, when you put something false out there, either maliciously or sometimes they say ignorance of the law is no excuse, but because you were gullible and it looked sensational and you therefore forwarded it, I suppose if there was a law that could be invoked, then no matter how semi-literate you are,
you're liable.
You're liable. And people will now be careful. Well, we don't know what the truth is. Or
so until we verify.
Yes, but we must make a difference, I think, between opinion freely given. And that opinion might not be to be supportive of the government. We might be criticizing everything that the government is doing if that is what one's intention is. But you see, even if you're criticizing and your criticism has no logic, no sense, no facts, the people out there who are the consumers will know, will see it. And that's what we said. That's what we said earlier, that government itself has its own men. Femi Adesina is on social media. Garba Shehu is on social media. Mohammed is on social media. There's a whole team.
Debunk falsehood. That's
yes, there's a whole team.
Compensated recently. Onochie.
Okay.
Who is in charge of social media?
Exactly. It's like there's a social media directorate. Joshua, where is Joshua calling from? There you go. Kaduna. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Truth must be told. The northern elders that met yesterday in Kaduna, I thought they would be meeting, discussing out-of-school children, discussing development in Nigeria. But you can see how government sponsor so many things to disrupt what we are talking about. We are all talking about reforming the police, giving police good salary so that they can defend us. And all the narrative that is coming out now is about division of Nigeria. Nobody is interested in dividing the nation. All what we are interested in is good governance. Good governance everywhere. Go to the south, go to the north, go to the east. Everybody commanded the police to themselves. Policing only the few. The rest are left vulnerable. What we are seeing is a wake-up call, Uncle Yori. This is a wake-up call. I wish our leaders would stop using ethnicity, because ethnicity is coming in now. That is pure ethnicity, that the North wanted this, the South wanted that. No! This thing is general. Thank you very much. It has been very difficult getting you all this while. This is the first time since I've been watching TV news.
Indeed. We're delighted that you could get us, Joshua. Thank you very much for calling in. And that's another Nigerian voice saying that, in fact, he disagrees with the Northern leadership. Nobody is campaigning for a division of Nigeria or acting in that regard.
And that's not that should not be their priority right now.
And that is what he said. You know, we could take this subject, continue with it for another 2 hours, I'm sure you are aware. But we're going to have to, as it were, put the lid on it for now. We won't put a padlock on it. We won't put a padlock on it because it's an ongoing situation. Yes. But I think you gentlemen have made the point that number one is going to be very difficult. Number two, people, if by regulation it is meant freezing out anti-government criticism, no. And as I said, to the, for whatever it is worth, all of us here have heard the president say, whatever the context is, that they do not mean, they're not against what they call constructive criticism, So we'll leave that for now, but let's take a break. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll use the home stretch, so to speak, to look at the American elections. Who is Trump going to be? Okay, well, maybe we can even dispense with the break, but is President Trump, is he going to be a one-term president?
It is looking so.
I hear that hasn't happened since George Bush Sr.
Yes, it is.
Jimmy Carter was a one-term president.
Yes, but I think Senior.
I'm talking about Jimmy Carter.
Yes,
was a one-term president.
Exactly.
The Iran issue. He was a one-term president.
Yes.
But Obama broke that jinx.
He did.
No, Clinton broke the jinx.
Yes. Clinton
was a two-term president. Ronald Reagan was a two-term president. Yeah. It's the George Bush Sr. that was a one-term president. Even George Bush Jr. was a two-term president.
It's like after him, there hasn't been any one-term president.
No.
That's the point I was making.
This will be the Republican president that might become a one-term president.
Well, let's look at it critically.
Okay.
Nobody knows. If you look at all the papers, they said too close to call. Mm-hmm. That's because the opinion polls tend to poll people with telephones, handsets, and things like that.
By the way, before you continue, sir, a substantial part of the votes have actually been cast.
About 100 million.
About
8 million people
voted already.
Yes.
Before election
in a country of 350 million people. And those 350 million includes the aged, the elderly, and the babies that are qualified to vote.
200 million registered voters.
200 million registered voters.
And those that have voted so far is 70% of those total votes in 2016. Mm-hmm. So you can see there's a large turnout of voters. And the problem is that the average person that can be reached will not tell you who they are voting for.
No.
So people know that, and people tend to forget, America is a white country. It's a white country.
But we have the traditional red states and the traditional blue states.
Yes.
Is that still intact?
Donald Trump has made the issue.
In this election, it is not intact.
Donald Trump has made the issue that of the survival of Aryan race, survival of the white race. And the white people control 75% of the country. When we talk of black people, minorities, they are not as many as you think. So if you now begin to play on ethnic sentiments and make the white believe that foreigners are coming to take over the country from you, people will tend to want to rise up. Ethnicity.
The way you put it is indeed one perspective out there.
Yeah.
But There are more
have
than
the
a,
moderates.
there are more than a few black Republicans as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So
that's why the way I put it was
Yeah.
that if we look at why do they say it is close? They say it's close because there are many people in America that buy into the narratives of Trumpism. Not that Trumpism is right, and I'm talking about white male Americans who see Donald Trump as representing what they discuss in their bedrooms. What they discuss in their bedrooms. And what is going in their bedrooms.
He can speak in the market square.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's speaking.
That's the narrative that Donald Trump has brought to American
And
politics
continues to push.
of today and continues to push it.
America
But
first.
America
Yeah.
first, but not first in the sense that it is all America.
No.
He's talking about white
White
Americans.
America, yes.
Not all America. And you can see what
But
Biden is saying.
he's not as
Biden
plain as
is
that.
saying
He's not as
going
plain
to
as all that.
represent
Over.
of America, not of blue states or red states.
Yeah.
That is
But
going
the
to
average
represent America.
American is defined as WASP, white, white Aryan Protestant. You know, that's the average American. The average American, if you look at the population of America, the average American is a white male who just thinks about white as Caucasian. Are you getting me? And I'm not saying they are right. This is the thinking. And Donald Trump knew that. He's using religion, that is evangelicalism, he's using ethnicity, he's using gun control and say, look,
Yes.
so they have the rifles, American Rifle Association behind him, he has all those people behind him, and he just knows that those people, they have redistributed the electoral college, redone the map of the electoral college in a way that those populations are the ones that control the electoral college. So you find fewer seats in Congress for the minorities. Or anytime the majority, the Republicans take over control of Senate and the House of Reps, they redivide, they redraw the electoral map of America in a way that they give, just like we're talking of Nigeria now, they just do it in a way that maybe a particular tribe in Nigeria can control Senate. So whereas in Nigeria, we say, no. If you're going to win an election in Nigeria, you must have you must have 1/4 of the votes cast into 1/3 of the states. The 1/3 of the states mean 24. There are only 17 states in the South. If you are going to win, you must get 7 states in the North to become president of Nigeria. But in America, you will see that Donald Trump is not going to campaign in California. Donald Trump doesn't need to campaign in some other states because they are basically states. He will go to states that are
But that didn't happen in this.
Let me hear from you,
Donald
Doctor.
Trump has been going to states where he shouldn't have campaigned.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he knew that election was tight
Yes.
and that he might not win.
Oh, I agree with that.
So he was pushing back.
I agree with that.
To those states.
Now, I'm
But
simply
you
saying-
can see the concentration on Pennsylvania, for instance,
Yes.
because he has 20 electoral votes.
Yes, in principle.
He has large populations.
Yeah.
If you saw the massive turnout during his recent campaign, it shows you what the narrative you are painting.
yeah.
But I'm telling you that the verdict will be out on Donald Trump, that narrative is not authentic.
All right.
That is the point.
I'm not.
And so you think that his presidency is actually
at stake.
That it is at stake?
Yes,
Yes, it is at stake.
It is.
I believe it's at stake, and I believe that he will likely not.
And again, his mismanagement of the pandemic, of
Yes.
the coronavirus pandemic, will hurt his presidency.
Yeah.
Will
And
hurt his election.
And it's 17,000 lies.
Yes,
Still
well,
counting.
yes.
Because on
But
Saturday, he
yes,
said
even
that
they say-
doctors are allowing people to die because
Yes.
they benefit commercially from it.
Yes.
He just goes
Imagine
on
that's
with
a
the
lie.
lies, and people
That's
are
a
buying
complete
it.
lie.
People are buying it.
But imagine the whites. Imagine trooping out, massing
Well,
together without masks.
It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how this.
And
Yes,
I'm going to
people
say-
are dying.
I'm not going to say he may win. That's my stand. I'm not saying he should win. I'm saying he may win because the undercurrent, when you bring in ethnicity and religion, that Biden is going to bring Islam back, Biden is going to do this, he's playing on the base sentiments of the people. Please, I'm not saying Donald Trump will win. I'm not saying Donald Trump should win. I'm saying that it's just a deal breaker, and he's only looking at what can make him win. If you listen to any of his campaigns, if you listen to
Why is he erecting tall walls around the White House now?
All right.
He's going to cause commotion.
Yeah. If you see
He's saying that he's going to declare himself the winner today.
Well, he did say that any election, any result
that does not favor him
will be
contested.
Yes.
Will be contested.
Yes. So he's indicated that he's going to be a spoil spot.
Yes.
You know.
Now that he's erecting wall around the White House, what does he mean?
You know,
what does he mean?
Look, you think, Dr. Doko, that his presidency is in jeopardy?
Yes,
he just might lose it. Now, this was an experiment with America. Trump has not been a politician. Trump has been he's a businessman. He's a reality show host.
Yes.
He's been everything.
Yes.
He's been everything. Real estate, but politician.
Yes.
But because he is who he is, he's a billionaire. You know, even though they are contesting that, he's a multi-billionaire.
He doesn't pay taxes.
Even though Americans are contesting, he doesn't pay taxes and all of that. So they experimented with him because he had a larger-than-life persona.
I agree.
And they made him president. But now they've had the past 4 years to evaluate their choice.
Yes.
Might this be an opportunity? Because President Obama, you've seen the social media posts. He's been working and
night and day.
Yes, night and day, phoning people up and all of that. Might this be an instance where the American people revisit that decision of theirs to put a non-politician in charge? Because no other president has done the kind of things presented in the issues in the kind of way that President Trump has presented it.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because
That's
he has broken out with NATO, broken out with everybody.
We're not used to a president being as undiplomatic.
Now, when
as
you are
he is.
saying that, is that not the reason why they want to vote for somebody who is not a businessman? Please still note this. We are talking about the majority white males. The majority white males will vote for anybody that will improve their lots, will give them jobs, will make them dominate the world, and will make them dominate any other race within America.
Okay, there are Americans that like that sentiment.
And Donald Trump has played that card.
Yes. I have another caller on the line. Kudos, is that the name? Kudos?
Yeah.
Good morning,
Hello.
Kudos.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Okay, Kudos. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would just like to put some contributions to the program we have today.
Okay.
I'm a youth of this country, and I would really love for we Nigerians to actually learn from what's going on in the United States of America when it comes to election and campaign. I actually appreciate what the United States of America actually doing when it comes to campaigning without monetary value, without giving out phones, without giving out. They're actually campaigning based on what they have to offer to the country, their policies, their promises. They keep to the promise. They make policies. They give out policies. And this is what they will do when they come to office. But what I notice about the Nigerian politics is during the campaign they go out sharing rights. Most of what they should give to the people, especially when they are hungry right now, they are actually keeping it to themselves, waiting for 2023 to come. So they will share it out as, okay, this is this party, this is sharing this is sharing this is ANC sharing this. And we can't continue like this. I honestly don't see a future for myself in this country. That's the truth.
Okay.
That's the honest truth. As the youth of this country, I honestly don't see a future for myself because even history, who are we studying in history? There's no history in our school anymore. The only history they teach us the history of Lord Lugard. They don't teach us the history of Nigerian government.
Okay.
Of Nigerian government.
Okay.
So most of us we don't even know what's even going on in this country. The governments are actually posting media stuff like don't regulate the media. Even the government lies. They lie about information. For instance, Songwater Road, they'll say they are constructing the road. They've been here for the past 4-5 years. The General Baghdad construction have been here for 4, and they're telling us the road is almost completed.
Yeah.
It's unfair. It's unfair. I'm angry.
I hear you, Kudus. Thank you very much for calling in.
Maybe as a quick one, maybe I can chip this in.
Yes, because don't worry, it's fluid, but I think we can go there.
Very quickly. It's not only in Nigeria that politicians do that. Even in America, Donald Trump has sent letters to people that they should vote for him and has promised people certain things, you know. And people go to places, they address the issues. They don't give rice and money like we do here, but they do other things. Super PAC. They are lobbyists in America. Yes.
Somebody was on social media, if it is not false, saying that look at what I was sent by President Trump.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that. If it is not false.
Yes.
So stomach infrastructure.
Trump is a new dimension.
There you go.
So unless so it's the individual. It's the individual. The who does not make the monk. The who does not make the monk. Yeah.
But you know the.
No, but I think what he's driving at is that in their own climes, they make electoral promises and they try to fulfill those promises. Those promises
Has Trump delivered the wall?
No,
has he delivered the wall he said he was going to build?
He attempted to. We attempted on Water Road now. That's what it is.
Federal government can come and tell you they are attempting Songwater. We are attempting Songwater now. It's not that we're, but you see, I think the point that Kudus brought out, and that really, where we've used the word revolution, that we've also addressed, I think it's reformation. A reformation is required, and that is accepted, that there need to be reforms. Reforms in the police won't happen overnight, but
the National Assembly,
they earn too much in the National Assembly.
Even the youths have to reform too in cheating in WAEC and JAM.
There's so many areas that need reform. But let me take Mr. Galadima. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nigerians, we have a lot to learn from the America's election.
Okay.
Hello, are you with me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. We have a lot to learn. It's like in America now, what's happening, if Trump should win this election, Americans know what to expect. And if Biden should win the election, Americans know what to expect. The problem with us is that our politicians, they will make promises, but at the end of it all, you do not know where they belong to. You don't know what really they stand for. The election, Trump in 2016, when he was coming, he made his points what he wanted to achieve, no matter how, they look like, whether they were not politically friendly or whatever, but he stood by those promises and ensured that no matter how Americans perceive those things to be, he never turned his eyes away from making sure that he does take, for example, the building of the wall between America and Mexico. He stood by it, no matter how Americans see it. His immigration policies may not be friendly, but he still stayed by it.
Yeah.
So why can't our leaders learn from this?
Indeed.
Our leaders will tell you that they will do this, they will do that. But at the end of it, you don't see anything. They said they will restructure Nigeria. We have stood for over 5 years. We have not seen anything about restructuring.
Indeed.
They said they will do that, they will do that. They constituted the Aero-5 Committee on Restructuring. It finished its work. And we didn't hear anything. That is where it ended. The 2014 conference that Jonathan did, it ended at the table. Everything.
Yes.
We do everything, it ends at the table. No wonder we always have problem in Nigeria. Our anger and hunger will continue to drive our society instead of the government bringing out policies that will really make Nigeria grow, so that these things, all these problems we have about EndSARS and whatever, we wouldn't have all this if the government stays by its promise.
Indeed.
But the government is not doing what it should do.
Thank you.
So we must make sure that our government should wake up. Let's do what is right.
All right.
Nigerians deserve the best.
Indeed.
If they say they will do something, they should ensure that they do it.
Indeed.
So that
thank you very much, Galadima.
Nigerians can go for. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Because, and also to just recap what Galadima said, I like the way he said, you elect Trump, you know what to expect. You elect Biden, you know what to expect. When we elected President Buhari, we thought we knew what to expect, because much was put out for us.
But don't forget,
it is not going to be business as usual.
The problem is not just to know what to expect, it's also for you to hold the person accountable. If the president doesn't perform,
Yes.
the people will hold you accountable. They're going to tell you, you promised this. So it's not just the
Because
leaders,
all the things
the
that-
followers themselves
all the things-
to hold the man accountable.
Okay, because all the things that President Buhari in the campaign sphere that he had said, this is what Nigeria will have if I should come to
expect.
power. In short, this is what to expect
The price of
when I
fuel will
become
come
president.
down. This
All
will come
of
down, Naira will
that.
come down. The dollar will come down.
The number of those things that we're still waiting
I
for.
tell you something very
But
instructive.
we were only to be hearing that, well, you see,
I tell you
the way it
something.
works is that I have to go through the rule of
But the
law,
Northern
I have to
I
go
tell
through
you something
democracy.
that was very instructive.
Very briefly, please.
When
because-
he was coming
Yes.
in, some Nigerians ran away.
Yes, because they thought
They were going
that
to be arrested and put in jail.
that it was going to be
But when
exactly
he came
the way
and
the
didn't form a cabinet for 6 months, they came back.
They knew that there's some wiggle room
And
in
then
here.
when the northern governors go to meet him, instead of him to tell them to tell him, what have you done for our children? Why there's still poverty in the north? The roads are not good. There's no water, there's no light. They're talking about regulating social media. So if you can't hold people accountable, they will be free to go and do what they want to do. We have to learn how to be so sensitive to those in authority, hold them responsible, and continue to put it in their faces. You promise to do this, and you should do it. Or else, we are not going to allow
That's
you.
what the youth have started
That's what
doing
the
now.
youths have started doing.
That is the youth, quite frankly.
Should be commended.
Yes, they should be
And the
commended.
president did commend them.
Yes.
It was too little, too late.
Okay, but he did.
Yeah, but
and
it happened.
every
It
reasonable
happened.
voice in this
If the president
town.
had come out within 48 hours, if he had come to Lagos or send the vice president to Lagos to talk to them and tell them
Well,
that, yes, we are not able to do
you just
this.
said that nobody knew how to handle this. We had never seen this
I
kind
knew
of
how
a
to
thing before.
handle it.
No, did you expect it?
They were nobody expected it. We
Whatever
were
it is,
shocked.
If you are quick to do it,
Everybody
anything,
was
a
shocked.
stitch in time still saves 9.
Okay, you're very right. But gentlemen, we got to leave it here for now. It's been quite an interesting conversation, and I would like to thank those that called in from home as well. You know yourselves, ending up with Galadima calling in. Thank you very much for calling in, and I like to say SARS is out there. Maybe we'll look at that subject subsequently, but it is said that the numbers... thank you very much, COVID-19,
Yes,
So SARS is not out there. Special anti-robbery squad is not out there. COVID-19 is out there.
Still out there.
It is still out there. And indeed, they say the figures are rising.
Yeah, because there's a wave.
Rising and
now.
falling.
There's a wave, not just rising.
So
and
we're
falling.
worried.
For now, there's a fresh wave.
So the best thing to do is to
take
adopt all the protocols
things,
of
wash your hands, keep
COVID-19.
away from mass gatherings, keep your mask on, and make sure that all the time you are at alert, knowing that the kind of people you are moving with. And we said back this last 2 weeks, a new wave is coming. The schools have been opened. That's worrisome to the doctors. The airlines, the airports have been opened, and then people are now doing more weddings, burials, and everything in the midst of the second wave.
So
And
it's
these are
like we're saying that we've got rid of
it's the only
COVID-19.
virus that doesn't visit you except you invite it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Boyo. We ended up with the public health specialist, Dr. Boyo there. But we started off with the public affairs analyst. Thank you very much. And also, Dr. Nick Idoko, Professor of Communications and Conflict Management. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspectives. Indeed. So that's our program. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Forline. Bye-bye for now.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.